Hey guys, how's it going? Jaden Wilder here. It's a beautiful afternoon here at Palm Beach. We've got the sun that's slowly setting and the wind's finally starting to die down a little bit. This afternoon I've got 4 different eggy rods or squid rods to show you. I'm going to try and hopefully show you, the difference between all the various types of squid rods and how to choose when you're in the shop, how to choose one that sort of fits your style best. So first of all, we've got the Pro X Air K SE. So this one here, this is a 8-foot medium light. It's rated for PE 0.6 to 1.2, and it's for using jigs of size 2 to 3.5. Now, you notice with this guy, compared to some of the other ones, your shore-based rods, they've got a slightly crisper tip. Now the reason for that is, when you're fishing from shore, you want to be able to punch your jigs out a long way. It's all about the distance, getting as far as you can to where the squid actually are. So this one here, you can just lob those bigger jigs an absolute mile, but they've still got that reasonably soft tip. So hopefully you can see as I'm flicking it up there, so that you can still get the action. Now, a good eggy rod, it's all about the sensitivity. They're often, high carbon with the slightly softer tips. It's all about feeling. So you want to be able to feel when your jig's hitting the weed, but more importantly, you want to be able to feel when that squid actually comes along and grabs that jig. Now he might come along, and they don't always hook themselves. He might come along and grab it from the side. So the eggy's like this, and he might actually come along and grab it from the side. By being able to feel that, you're able to strike really hard. The jig's going to move sideways and attach all those tentacles, and they're all going to be stuck. And the closer the jig gets to the head of the squid, that means you've struck nice and early, and it's a lot less likely to fall off. Alrighty, now we've got the Pro X Air K SE, but this is the tip run. Now tip run was designed in Japan about 2009, I read, by the Valley Hill guys. All it basically is pretty well over there in Japan. They do a lot of shore-based squidding from the rocks and from the jetties for really big squid, whereas your tip run is more designed for your boat. So your boat's drifting, and you're letting the current and the drift of the boat give the action. You're really only working a little bit. That's probably what most of us in Australia here are sort of used to anyway. When squidding out of a boat, a lot of us have done that, either using a hand line or a light brim rod. Now, hopefully you can see this tip run. The tip, you can really see it's bouncing a lot just with that 3.5 jig. Now the tip is a lot softer. Your tip run, they're not designed for casting as far. The idea is when you can see it, when that squid comes along and grabs it, any weight whatsoever, you're actually watching for the movement in the tip. You're not just feeling it, you're also watching for that movement. When a squid grabs it, any weight that comes on, you'll notice there's a lot more, the tip's a lot softer, it folds over. Once again, that's when you strike, and that's when you're going to hook your squid nice and tight, and they're not going to be able to get off. So your tip run rods, or your boat style egging rods, they're a little bit shorter. This one's a 7.8, so normally they're from around 7 foot up to 8 foot, and even though this one's a... Alrighty, so now we've got the Pro X, we've got the Zero here. So this is another 8-foot medium light. This one here is sort of your in-between. It's sort of like a good, really nice all-purpose. It's still going to be able to cast your jigs nice and far, but at the same time it's still got a reasonably soft sort of tip. So once again, you're going to be able to see all those strikes, and it's also going to absorb the lunge of the squid so it doesn't rip out. This one here is probably my favourite all-rounder. It's cheaper than the other 2 that we saw, but it's just a really nice all-round. You're going to be able to use this from shore comfortably. At 8 foot, you're still going to get good casting distance, but it's not too big either when you want to use it from a boat. If you're happy to spend the money, it is going to be better having your 2 different styles, your shorter style tip run for your boat, and maybe your longer 8.6, 9-foot rod, sort of from fishing from shore. But you can pick up something like this, a really nice high carbon combo with a nice reasonably soft tip that's still going to be able to cast jigs a long way, and it's going to be a really good all-rounder. You can pick them up for around rods like this for around the $200 mark, and they're still beautiful pieces of equipment. This is the Pro X Squid Metal. It's only 7'2". Now this is really designed for chasing your big squid out in your boat. This is a real sort of high-end tip run sort of rod. Now you're not going to use this guy from casting from shore. I'm going to show you why. Yeah, look at that tip. All that is that's just the weight of the jig, and as you can see, this has actually got a solid tip. I'm pretty sure it's actually titanium. Now you can imagine if a squid farts anywhere near it, this thing's just going to, you know, it's going to pick it up really well with the boat. Now this is a really nice rod. If you have it sitting in the rod holder, that's just going to absorb all the tension. If a squid grabs it, it's not going to pull the tentacles off, and it's definitely going to catch it. But it's just really fun using this rod here, just letting it sink. And like I said, you're going to, even the smallest squid, if he just touches that jig, you can actually see it with the tip of the rod. And that's when you lift up, you strike, and you're definitely going to hook it. So yeah, this one's the most fun you're definitely going to have. It's probably more for your enthusiasts. You definitely, you know, it is really hard sort of casting heavier jigs out. It's not really for casting, it's definitely more for fishing out of a boat. But hopefully now you can tell the difference from all your different squid rods. Basically your longer, stiffer rods are really good for shore based if you want that extra casting distance, whereas your shorter, softer rods are probably better if you're fishing from a boat. Alrighty guys, good luck and hope to see you out there.